Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the Quantum Leap Futures Morning Leap session for Tuesday, April the 18th, 2017. My name is Doug McKay. I am the founder of Quantum Leap Futures. Each morning we get together in these live go-to sessions to take a look at the market, macro to micro, take a look at the structure of the market. Then we drill down to our trade levels, our targets, and our hypotheses for the day. We do create multiple hypotheses. We do this in order to have a plan in place. Then we determine what the market is doing, who's in control once the RTH opens up, and then we can execute on the plan that we've determined best suits the market. We do not try to predict the market. Nobody can. We can only react with a plan in place rather than trying to determine what we're going to do in each situation live. If you're trying to think on your feet and devise a plan prior to the RTH open, you can get confused, you can be wrong, and that can hurt your account. This is a subscription room. If you're interested in checking it out, please send me an email at quantumleapfutures@gmail.com. There's no website, there's no blog. This is not a commercial venture. We do everything live here in the go to pre-market, and then we do live trading and analysis during the course of the trading day. Please read through disclaimer. Nobody at Quantum Leap is a certified trading advisor. We are retail traders operating within a self-organized learning environment. Past performance is not indicative of future results. Any trades that you see in Quantum Leap are for education purposes only. Please trade your own due diligence, your own trade plan, and your own risk metrics. Okay, so taking a look at yesterday. Yesterday, in the Globex, we had gone down and put that double bottom in at 22.75. And my main hypothesis was actually rotation up into the value area and the midpoint, possibly even a little bit higher, and the rotation down and coming down to take out that 22.75. We had broken the one-time framing up. We were seeing some weakness. We had fallen out of that balance, but as it's been for so long, for I don't know how long I can remember, just can't keep a good SPOO down right now. So hypo 2 actually is the hypo that played out. We opened auction in range. We moved down to our first trade level at the 28.75. They rotated it up, and then basically we just went sideways inside of yesterday's range for most of the day, with a little bit of a peak, a 1.4 tick peak above at the end of the day. And then, basically we closed back up inside of that balance again. It's just, overnight, our inventory is 90% net short. We went sideways at the upper distribution of yesterday, and then we came down, and since the European session is open, we come down and chopped around in the middle distribution from yesterday, and basically chopping between 42 and 33 in this distribution zone. Very ugly looking profile from yesterday. We did spend most of our time yesterday in the middle section before coming up and creating this distribution and stealing the VPOC, and the VPOC shifting above. The VPOC, okay, overnight is still above us. We put a ton of volume in there. Well, I wouldn't say a ton of volume in there, but enough to leave the VPOC there. We have had some OTF activity in the European session. That's to be noted only because of the fact that Europe was closed on Monday. So when they reopened for their Tuesday session, you can see that there was some activity, and we were to be expected. But that activity was net negative for most of the session, and basically still going sideways. We might see a little bit of VPOC shift. We might see a shift either at 39.75 or 38.50, but we'd have to put a fair amount of more volume in there. So taking a look at the news today, we did have news at 8:30 Eastern time. We had building permits and housing starts. Building permits was slightly higher. Housing starts was slightly lower. It really didn't do anything to move the market. We did have foreign security purchases. Let's see what that was in Canada. So that was 38.8 billion. That was a big beat. 9:15 coming up in about 20 minutes. We've got capacity utilization rate and industrial production. And then that's it for the news for the U.S. today. We do have Australia coming out with their CV leading index, and then New Zealand, their GDP at some point in time. But other than that, we got, Governor Council Member Wilkins speaking from Canada. That's not a non-event, and there's really not much going on the rest of the day. So if anything, it'll be news-related events and what's going on with this, whole posturing with North Korea and Russia right now. Other than that, the scheduled news is done. Earnings are coming in, better than I would have expected. You can see that most of the earnings this morning, let me just refresh this because there should be the last of them out. Schwab still hasn't put theirs out. But you can see most of the earnings and the revenue is been a beat. So I mean, we're coming in, and this is going to firm up this market, and why we're having a hard time going down. And if this continues moving forward, then we can see him move back up into this bigger balance. Aftermarket today, let's sort by size. We've got United, we've got IBM tonight. We've got Yahoo, Rogers, Lamb. Those are the big ones, really. And I can see a couple financials down there, but the big one will be IBM and Yahoo that most people will be paying attention to. Okay, so I always like to start my day just taking a look at the macro to micro. I use a simple candlestick chart on my paper money, and I use 9 EMA, 20 SMA. I've added the 50 SMA as well, simply because on the daily we're below it right now. But what I'm looking for is where we are within the trend. Do we have slope and separation, strength of the trend, where the trend is being challenged or violated? Multi-year upward trend at the end of 15, beginning of 16, they violated it, then they took it back, and then we get this beautiful falling rising 3 pattern, and we've got good slope, good separation, although last month was our first negative month of the year, and so far we're below the open of the month, which was 2357.50. But the trend does not get challenged or violated until we get into the mid 2200s. Going to the weekly, you can see that we have started to one time frame down for the last 2 weeks. This week again, we've got a lower low, 2275, and a lower high so far. So we are one time framing down. We're below the 9 and the 20, but we're trying to take back the 9 right now. But we are seeing some challenge to this trend on the weekly. As we move down to the daily, you can see that the reason I added this into the 20 SMA onto the chart because of the daily. This is the first time, okay, last Thursday was the first time, I'm sorry, last Wednesday, what day was that? The 12th, whatever day that was the first time that we had actually closed below the 20 SMA from all the way back, okay, to the election day. So this whole time, once the election came out and the results were known, we've been in this huge trend and never really violated. We came down back in March to test it, but we did not close below it. Well, we did, and we are currently below the 9, the 20, and the 50 on the daily. which generally looks to be a trend change, and that's why I'm looking at it. But with these earnings coming out as good as they are, we have a tendency to pop back up. So we'll watch this 2350 area. We get back above that 2350. I think they're going to go for the month open at 2357.50. But if we hold below it, I think we see more chop in this distribution. We'll take a look at that in the composite in a minute, and possibly a start of a downward trend out of this balance. Going to the intraday, you can see that intraday we were, last few sessions that we were getting a downward move, and then they took it back yesterday during the RTH. They've come back down and taken the naked cross that we put in earlier in the Globex, and right now we're sitting on top of the 9 and the 20. So I mean, we're more just consolidating in this area as we did violate the trend, that was to the downside, to the upside. And if we can hold now, we could get a start of an upward trend on the 4 hour. Going to the 1 hour, we did, come down, put a break in the trend down and started to trend up yesterday through the RTH, and then in the Globex they've broken back below, and now we're below the 9 and the 20. There is a naked cross down here. Mark it on your chart, on your journal, at 27.25. That is a target if we get below the 34.75 area. Going to the 30-minute, you can see that the trend is accelerating to the downside here. We did get a FUBAR Mr. Sneaky technical gap. They came up and closed that technical gap, but they're failing to hold above the 9, and we're getting continuation down, and the trend is down on the 30-minute right now. On the 15-minute, basically the same thing. We were downtrending, and then they tried to take it back, and now they're failing and trying to get back above the 9 and the 20, but they're not doing a very good job of it and holding above. And going to the 5-minute, you can see that we're back below the 9 and the 20 on the 5. There is a naked cross down here on the 5-minute at the 23.37. So I'll be watching that 37 area, and could be a possible push down. Okay, so let's take a look at the bigger picture. So the black outline here is my micro composite that goes to the gap up day on the 13th, February the 13th. The most traded price is still above us at 23.59.50. Then we had the breakdown day, which was a couple Tuesdays ago, and I started the profile from there, and it's most traded price is above us at 53.75. We tried to hold value up here. Okay, you can see that they kept on stepping in at that 64.50, and the sellers were getting aggressive there, and we couldn't hold the value at 53. What do? They come down, and we test the lower side of that. And now I've created a 4-day and a 2-day profile. The 4-day is still above us at the 43 area, and the 2-day, the last 2 days, they're trying to hold value and accept value back up here in the 39 area. And if you remember, this 39 area was the overall VPOC, okay, when we came up here the first time. So they're trying to hold this value that got us the continuation up, and we've got to be paying close attention to this. Also because the longer time frame value area low and the shorter time frame value area low, basically both this microcomposite and this microcomposite, both their value areas are sitting at 37 area. So if we can't hold the 37, I'm looking for the test back to the 33, and then 33 is going to become, it was 32.50. It is going to become our key line in the sand. Below that, I'm looking for a move back down to the naked close that we've got down at that 27, and that naked, we have a naked close down there, and we have a naked cross down there as well. And then more chop down here between the 33 and the 1275. Remember, we still have a weak low put in the Globex yesterday at 22.75. That is our weak low, meaning not strong. It's also our weak low, meaning the low of the week so far. All right, so let me just finish that off. If we can hold above that 33, then I'm looking for us to come back up here and chop between the 39 and the 45 area until we can determine fair value in this lower distribution. We have a clear double distribution where the longer time frame value is still above us, but we've fallen out of that balance and we're coming back down into this lower distribution where we've got undetermined fair value. We have undetermined fair value up here as well, but we've got two distribution zones to mature the auction in, and this is the one that's closest to us and the one that's most important right now. And 33 becomes our key line in the sand below. 48.50 will remain our key in the sand above, because above 48.50 then we'll likely come up and test this 53 and 59 area again. All right, so let's take a look at the overnight session and start moving our numbers over. Our overnight high is up at 47, just 1 point above the RTH high from yesterday. Our overnight low is down at 34 and a quarter. I'm sorry, 34.50. So you can see we auctioned a good portion of yesterday's RTH range in the overnight session. Current VPOC doesn't look like it's going to shift, but we do have news coming out in 5 minutes. It's 44.75, so that's 1 tick below the value area that was stolen into the close yesterday. What I mean by that, we didn't get the VPOC shift until the cash close, and I call that stealing the VPOC, because really most of the value during the current during the RTH session was down, and it was at the 38 and a quarter. So we're really, have strong price acceptance down here, even though in the cash close we did get the VPOC shift, but it was a stolen VPOC. We have an LVN here at 42.50. We have an LVN here at 41 and a quarter. So this whole area right here is going to be becoming a very important over-under line for me. Because if we get over it, we're in the upper distribution from yesterday. If we can't get above it, we are staying in the middle distribution and unable to get back towards the close and close the gap in the VPOC. Above that, I'm targeting the VPOC. My key line in the sand is just shifting one tick to the 48.50. I'm not going to try to trade this. I hope to be in a trade by the time we get to the 46, but if you wanted to try to take the breakout trade, certainly got a weak high there at the 46 with multiple tests there, and you'd be targeting the overnight high at the 47, definitely trying to get funded before we get to the key line in the sand. Other than that, there's a little bit of an LVN here at 37 and a quarter. It's right near the midpoint, so I'm going to use the midpoint from yesterday as a trade area. Below it, I'm looking for the takeout of the overnight low down at 34.50 and possibly coming down. The 33 area is going to be my key line in the sand below. I know this is tighter than I usually have it, but there's reasons for that. And that reason is I figure if we don't hold that 33, then we're likely to make the bigger move this time and not see the buyers step in until we get further down. Below that, I'm targeting the range low at 28.75 in this naked close and naked cross. The daily ATR continues to expand, and if you don't think we're going to break out of this balance soon, I'd be very surprised, just based on the activity that we're seeing and the fact that our daily ATR, our 20-period full session average true range, has expanded above 20 now, and our daily range is 20.45. And that is getting closer to our weekly 20 period, which is 35.86. I don't think our daily is going to get to 35, but we're, we can now do our weekly ATR in 2 days. And we'll talk about that in a minute. So our overnight high is the 47. 47, and then minus the 20.45 puts our daily downside ATR target at 26.50, and off of the bottom, our daily upside ATR target is 55. Our weekly ATR, okay, which is running 35.86, off of the 22.75 low of the week, our upside daily ATR target is 58.75, which is right back smack dab right in that longer term price acceptance, okay, and the Composite VPOC, which is the most traded price going back to the gap up day of February the 13th. So those are the key levels that I'm looking at. None of the levels, I'm going to use the 24, sorry, as a trade level as well. None of these levels are going to change. Our weekly downside ATR target is down here at 11.25. We're getting a cluster down here between the 12.75 and the 09.75. But we're trading smack dab in the middle. There's not a lot of news to move us, so we've got to see OTF participation today if we're going to see a Tuesday, a breakout Tuesday or take back Tuesday. And I'd be looking more for a take back Tuesday. As long as we stay below the over-under line of 41.25, I'm looking for expansion to the downside and a takeout of that 22.75. So my main hypothesis, and again, my Hypo 1 and Hypo 2 are pretty well evenly mixed, simply because of the fact that the buyers keep stepping in here and holding us up. But I have to go with the fact that we did break the one-time framing down on Thursday. This move up is just repair and back and fill, as D-Boy likes to call it. And my main hypothesis is an open auction in range, a move up, a failure to get above the 41.42, maybe even a push up into the VPOC, but somewhere between 41 and 47. I'm looking for responsive buyers to, responsive sellers to step in and rotate us down towards the 33.25 key line in the sand. I expect to bounce around there for a while and then fail and come down and take out the 27.50 naked close and naked cross down there, chop around here with maybe a late day probe to test that 22.75 area. That is my Hypo 1. Hypo 2 is an open auction in range, a move down towards the 33.25 and either hold the 33.25 or just dip down, but basically stay inside the range and then rotate up through, chop around the 42 area, and then push up into the 45 area, chop around here most of the day with maybe a late day probe up into this cluster up here between the 49 and the 53 area. We have range capabilities, okay, to the 26.50 and the 55s. My Hypo 3, because the buyers are stepping in, I give Hypo 3 more weight than Hypo 4, and that would be an open auction, okay. Either leave the overnight low alone or take the overnight low alone, okay, but hold the 33 and a quarter and then rotate up right up into the 46 area, chop up here and push up into the 53 area, chop and and get a trend day up into the 50, 58, 59 area and testing the upside of our weekly range. And then hypo 4 is an open auction. Failure to get above the 42, leaving the naked close and the naked VPOC. Quick move down to test the 27 level and then fail, come down to the 22.75. I'm going to put that in there because this is an important target right now. And our week low. And then push through and come all the way down into trending down into the 09.75 to 01 and a test of the 2300. I think it's going to be a moving day, but we'll have to see if we get the OTF. If we get OTF activity, and they stay involved on the development of the IB, then I would think that we could get a trend type day, or at least some larger expansion of the range and more directional than anything. Taking a look at gold. Gold again is made a big move, $49.20. We expected the pullback. I said between $18 and $20 pullback. So far we've got a $14 pullback, but they're finding some balance here between the 86 and 89 area, and we're seeing chop. Key line to watch today is the 83 level. If we can't hold the 83 level, look for that continued expansion down towards the 79, 78 area, possibly even 77. If we hold the 83, look for more chop between the 86 and 89. Anything above the 94.80, I think they go for the 1300. So we'll have to wait and see. Again, we have to watch for OTF activity for that in gold. We got news coming out, and right about now, let's see what the news says. Capacity utilization rate was basically 76.1, expected 76.3. And industrial production came out just as expected. So probably won't move the market much, likely just be a non-event. Anyway, that's going to complete our pre-market session. As always, trade well, trade safe, and we'll catch you on the flip side.